Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kanchabi Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Kanchabi Hari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giravaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giravaradari Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kanchabi Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Kanchabi Hari Jayam Swa Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parvajakacharya Asatar Sutta Sri Srimad Abhay Charnarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Jayam Swa Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parvajakacharya Asatar Sutta Sri Srimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasri Gaur Bhaktavinda Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Sri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Sri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Mathura Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Yamuna Mai Ki Jai Tulasi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Sri Sri Gaurnitai Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Srila Rasikananda Prabhu Ki Jai Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 8, Text number 25. Atra Pramanam Hi Bhavan Parmeshti Yata Atmabhu Apare Cha Anutishtanti Parvesham Purvajai Kritam Atra Pramanam Hi Bhavan Parameshti Yatatmabu Apare Chanutishtanti Parvesham Purvajai Kritam Atra Pramanam Hi Bhavan Parameshti Yatatmabu Apare Chanutishtanti Parvesham Purvajai Kritam Atra Pramanam Hi Bhavan Parameshti Yatatmabu Apare Chanutishtanti Parvesham Purvajai Kritam
Atra pramanam hi bhavan Parmeshti yutatmabu Pare chanatishtanti Purvesham purvajai kritam
Atra pamanam hi bhavan parameshti yatatmabuhu apare chanutishtanti purvesham purvajai kritam Atra pramanam hi bhavan parameshti yatatmabuhu apare chanutishtanti purvesham purvajai kritam Atra pramanam hi bhavan parameshti yatatmabuhu apare chanutishtanti purvesham purvajai
Atra pramanam hi bhavan parameshti yatatmabuhu
Parameshti Yatatmabu
apare chanutishtanti
Apare Tishtanti
purvesham purvajayakritam
Parvesham Jakritam
Atra pramanam hi bhavan parameshti yata ambu apare chan ustitanti purvesham purvajai kritam
Atra, in this matter, Pramanam, evidential facts, he, certainly, Bhavan, yourself, Parameshti, Brahma, the creator of the universe, Yata, as, Atmabu, born directly from the Lord, Apare, others, Cha, only, Anutishtanti, just to follow, Parvesham, as a matter of custom, for Vajai, knowledge suggested by a previous philosopher, Kritam, having been done. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Oh, great sage, you are as good as Brahma, the original living being. Others follow custom only, as followed by the previous philosophical speculators. Purport. It may be argued that Shukadev Goswami is not the only authority of perfect knowledge and transcendence because there are many other sages and their followers. Contemporary to Vyasadeva, or even prior to him, there are many other great sages, such as Gautama, Ganada, Jamini, Kapila, and Ashtavakra, and all of them have presented a philosophical path by themselves. Patanjali is also one of them, and all these six great rishis have their own way of thinking, exactly like the modern philosophers and mental speculators. The difference between the six philosophical paths put forward by the renowned sages above mentioned and that of Shukadeva Goswami, as presented in the Srimad Bhagavatam, is that all the six sages mentioned above speak the facts according to their own thinking. But Shukadeva Goswami presents the knowledge which comes down directly from Brahmaji, who is known as Atmabhu, or born of and educated by the Almighty Personality of Godhead. Vedic transcendental knowledge descends directly from the personality of Godhead. By his mercy, Brahma, the first living being in the universe, was enlightened, and from Brahmaji, Narada was enlightened, and from Narada, Vyas was enlightened. Shukadeva Goswami received such transcendental knowledge directly from his father, Vyasadeva. Thus, the knowledge being received from the chain of the disciplic succession is perfect. One cannot be a spiritual master in perfection unless and until one has received the same by disciplic succession. That is the secret of receiving transcendental knowledge. The six great sages mentioned above may be great thinkers, but their knowledge by mental speculation is not perfect. However perfect an empiric philosopher may be in presenting a philosophical thesis, such knowledge is never perfect because it is produced by an imperfect mind. Such great sages also have their disciplic succession, but they are not authorized because such knowledge does not come directly from the independent, supreme personality of Godhead, Narayan. No one can be independent except Narayan. Therefore, no one's knowledge can be perfect due to being dependent on the flickering mind. Mind is material, and thus knowledge presented by material speculators is never transcendental and can never become perfect. Mundane philosophers, being imperfect in themselves, disagree with other philosophers because a mundane philosopher is not a philosopher at all unless he presents his own theory. Intelligent persons like Maharaj Pariksit do not recognize such mental speculators, however great they may be, but hear from the authorities like Shukadeva Goswami, who is non-different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead by the Parampara system, as is specifically stressed in the Bhagavad Gita. Translation again. O great sage, you are as good as Brahma, the original living being. Others follow custom only, as followed by the previous philosophical speculators. Donovan Maharaj, we'd like to hear your thoughts on Srimad Bhagavatam.
I hope I don't give my own speculative thoughts. That would be disastrous. And that's the point, that even if one is a great philosopher, like we have some philosophers in the West that societies have appreciated, and they respect them so much that they have made their philosophies into like religions for huge groups of people and many generations to follow. But the problem is, although these are certainly thoughtful men and maybe pious men, but they're still defective because they're coming up with something that cannot be taken any more than if you say, I think, in my opinion. As soon as they say, in my opinion, or I think, then you have to go sit in the closet. As soon as I think, or perhaps maybe go sit in the closet, because it's not interesting. It's not, the great souls will never accept. They may be accepted by ordinary people. Just like, for example, very famous, we have what's called the Christian tradition. But all the things that are attributed to the Christian tradition may not be spoken by Christ. It's supposed to be the inaugurator of that. For example, they say, many of them say, animals have no souls, because one particular philosopher, he thought that man should be able to eat animals, but there must be more than that to it. Why would eating animals be okay for humans? So he thought, and have a soul. So by saying they don't have a soul, he's as Prabhupada says, a man may be very nicely dressed. He may be dressed like a very astute or intelligent gentleman, but if he speaks, then you know. So as soon as they speak and they say that this is my opinion, they're just guessing. And if you want guesses, that's what you get. And that's so unfortunate that millions of people since long ago have been accepting these philosophers and their theories, which are faulty. Faulty by the process even. The process itself is faulty. How can one know something beyond his capacity? How can he understand things that have happened long before he was even on the scene, before he was there? Simply speculation. So there's the process of trying to achieve knowledge or the absolute or the ultimate goal by the ascending process, and then there's the descending process. Ascending means by use of our own senses, our own mind, our own views, we try to come up with the perfect knowledge. Or the other way, which is the process we use, is parampara, or the descending process. There's aroha panta and avaroha panta. Avaroha panta means comes down. As it comes down, descending process, from a higher authority. And Krishna must be the original authority in any system for it to be considered bona fide. It has to begin with God. It has to begin with the original person, because he has knowledge that no one else has. Even Brahma doesn't have. Brahma doesn't know what there was before him. And therefore Krishna says, before everything existed, before the universe existed or the creation, I was there. Before there were any living entities, I was there. And I'm there now, maintaining, and after everything is gone, I'll still be there. Narayan. Narayan Paro Bhaktat. Narayan exists beyond, before the creation, and after the creation. So there's things that only Narayan knows. And even Brahma doesn't know. Brahma has to hear from Narayan. Then Brahma can be considered an authority. As soon as he's linked to the line of succession from Krishna, then he's an authority. Then whatever he says is perfect because he's been trained not to speculate. When I joined the temple, my first day, temple commander said, I'd like you to go wash the vans. Okay. And where the vans are around, on the corner there, around the temple. And you'll see vans there, and there's a devotee there, his name is Akendra. You ask him, he'll teach you how to wash the vans. So, okay. So I went there. All I saw was a little boy, 5 years old. I said, do you know where Akendra is? He said, I'm Akendra. I said, well, I'm supposed to learn from you. You're supposed to teach me how to wash the vans. He said, okay, take the bucket, put the soy. So he gave me instructions. And as we were washing the vans, he asked me some questions, philosophical questions. A few of them I knew because I had read a few pages of the Bhagavad Gita. I answered. And then on one, I said, I'm not sure, but I think that, don't speculate. That was the first day's lesson. But he wouldn't let me speculate, give my own opinion. He didn't want to hear my opinion. He wanted to hear from the authority. So that's what makes the Brahma Madhyava Gaudiya Sampradaya so powerful, is that it's connected to Krishna. And everyone will agree. Whereas the impersonal philosophers, speculators, everyone will disagree. Tarko pratishta shutayo vibhinna savrashir yashamatam nabhinnam. The philosophers are different, opinions are different. Even in the same scripture or different scriptures, they differ from each other. They have different departments. So the followers of the Jnana system may differ from those in the Karma Khandya system. They may differ from those in the Yoga system. Even though they're all bona fide systems, there may be some differences. So that's why such a big thing is being made of this. And that's why Srikadeva Goswami is being honored as good as God. Not that he's God. There's only one God, not many gods. And it doesn't mean that a man can become God. But it means that if he teaches what God has taught, without any change, without any adulteration, then it's flawless. It has to be accepted as perfect knowledge. And then one can put their full faith in it.
Bhagavatam Mars, thank you very much. This verse is very significant, and there are very many deep instructions. One is Sakshat Dharit Vinasam Samasta Shastri. The spiritual master is as good as God. Here, Srila Sukadeva Goswami is addressed as being as good as Brahma. So the Guru is one, but he manifests himself in different forms. And no one can be a guru unless he's a representative of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Maharaj Pariksit says that others follow custom only, and today is Govardhan Puja. And 5,000 years ago, there was a custom in Vrindavan of worshiping King Indra, the demigod in charge of providing rains, which are necessary for agricultural production. And there was a custom of offering sacrifice to Indra. And when little Krishna, he was only 7 years old, he heard about this. He was inquisitive, and he asked his father, Nanda Maharaj, what is the purpose of this sacrifice? What will be the result of this sacrifice? And so many very intelligent philosophical questions. And Nanda Maharaj explained as best as he could. And finally, Krishna said, there's no need of offering this sacrifice to Indra. Just take the ingredients, all the ghee and grains and milk that were prepared for offering to King Indra, and offer them to Govardhan Hill. And this Govardhan Hill is as good as I am. This Govardhan Hill is the manifestation of Krishna. And by so doing, all the demigods will be satisfied and all the living entities will be satisfied. So this Govardhan Puja ceremony is not appreciated in India very much because the Indians are very much attached to worshipping demigods, unfortunately, nowadays. But in ISKCON and the Gaudiya Math, this Govardhan Puja is an important feast day. And also this week coming up is the disappearance day of Srila Prabhupada. And these two feast days are very important for all devotees of Srila Prabhupada and Krishna. And it says Shukadeva Goswami is not the only authority in the matter of perfect knowledge. There are 4 Vaishnava Sampradayas, but the thread connecting all these 4 Sampradayas is Lord Chaitanya. All of them except Lord Chaitanya. And all these 4 Sampradayas except Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even Sankaracharya, the leaders of the Impersonalists, in his commentary on Bhagavad Gita, he also says that this Devaki Putra, the son of Devaki, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So there's no doubt that Krishna is supreme. And there are other mental speculators. They're very famous. There are 6: Gautama, Kanada, Jamini, Kapila, and Ashtavakra. Each of them has their own philosophies. And no one can be a Muni unless he defeats other Munis. But the Krishna consciousness movement is unique in this universe because it's based on Shastra, whereas others, so-called gurus, their philosophy is not based on Shastra. And no one can manufacture their own religion as is customary nowadays. Dharman tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. The laws of God are given by God. Man cannot manufacture. If one manufactures his own religion, he becomes a demon. And there are many so-called demons today, and they're condemned in Sri Upanishad. Their destination after death is to go to the darkest region of the universe. And anyone who claims to be an incarnation of God, he's insane. And their followers who accept such an incarnation, they're also insane. How can they think that I'm moving the sun, I'm moving the moon, I'm controlling everything? This is the last snare of Maya. And today's the disappearance day of Sri Rasikananda Prabhu, who is the most beloved disciple of Srila Shyamananda Goswami. Srila Shyamananda Goswami established one of the 7 principal temples in Vrindavan. Vrindavan is a place of 5,000 temples, but among those 5,000 temples, there are 7 that are very famous. And Shyamananda Goswami established the temple of Radha Shyamasundar. And the most beloved disciple of Shyamananda Goswami was this Rasikananda Prabhu. He appeared in the year 1590 of the Christian era, 1590 AD. in the district of Midnapur. Midnapur is a district just on the border between Bengal and Orissa, and he appeared in the village of Rohini. And his father's name was Achutananda Dev, and his mother's name was Bhavani Devi Dasi, and he was very, very devoted to both his father and mother. And when he was growing up, he was beloved by everybody in the village. And at an early age, he learned all the Shastras, and he became a learned scholar in the Vaishnav Siddhanta. And he was married at a very early age to a girl from a nearby village that was on the bank of the Sravana River. And this river was a place where thousands of years ago previously, the five Pandavas were in exile. And once this Rasikananda had a great hankering to find a spiritual master. And one night after he went to sleep, he heard a voice from the sky saying that your spiritual master is named Shamananda, and when the sun rises in the morning and the sky turns pink, you'll have your first meeting with your spiritual master. So when Rasikananda Prabhu heard this declaration from the sky, he became very ecstatic, and he began chanting on his japa bead, Shamananda, Shamananda, Shamananda. And he was very eagerly awaiting for the sun to rise. And sure enough, when the sun rose and the sky turned pink, he saw this tall figure walking toward him. He was shining like the sun, and he was surrounded by disciples. And he fell down at the lotus feet of this great devotee, Shamananda Prabhu. And Shamananda Prabhu embraced him and shed tears in ecstasy. And this Shamananda Prabhu, he was constantly chanting Gauranga, Gauranga, and Krishna, Krishna. And he initiated this Rasikananda Prabhu in the chanting of the names of Radha and Krishna. And he instructed Rasikananda Prabhu to spread the teachings of Lord Chaitanya to everyone he met. And Rasikananda Prabhu followed this instruction as best as he could. And at one time, Rasikananda Prabhu was attacked by a herd of maddened elephants, and they charged him, but Rasikananda Prabhu was not afraid because he was chanting Gauranga, Gauranga, Krishna, Krishna. And when the elephants heard this, they stopped their charge, and they also began to chant Hare Krishna. So this Rasikananda Prabhu had many disciples. Some of them were Muslims, some were Hindus, some were kings, princes, some were thieves, robbers. There was a great atheist who became his disciple. And there were agnostics who became his disciples. And he also initiated 2 elephants. One time there was a Muslim Saminder who was envious of this Rasikananda Prabhu, and he sent this intoxicated elephant to silence him, to attack him. And it turns out that Rasikananda Prabhu made 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 this elephant his disciple and engaged the elephant in the service of Krishna and the Vaishnavas. And he initiated one other elephant and gave the elephant the name of Sri Gopal Das. And this Rasikananda Prabhu also, another time, he pacified two belligerent tigers from the jungle. So many people were amazed by the transcendental potency of this Rasikananda Prabhu. And he preached all of the countryside of Orissa far and wide. And one time while he was out preaching, the time for Jagannath Ratha Yatra in the city of Puri was coming up. And he decided to go to Puri for Jagannath Ratha Yatra. But he got there too late. The Ratha Yatra had already started. And Lord Jagannath's cart was stopped. And Lord Jagannath told the king that my car has stopped because I'm waiting for my devotee, Rasikananda Prabhu. So when Rasikananda Prabhu finally arrived in Jagannath Puri, he had brought this valuable clothing for Lord Jagannath, and he prostrated himself before the Lord. And since Rasikananda Prabhu was there, Jagannath's car was finally able to move. But previously, the king had employed his strongest elephants to try to push Jagannath's car, but Jagannath wouldn't budge even an inch till Rasikananda Prabhu came there. And Rasikananda Prabhu's disappearance is also very wonderful. He went to the village of Raimini, Orissa, with a Sankirtan party of his disciples. And outside the temple, he started an uproarious Sankirtan, and they entered the temple of Srila Shirashore Gopinath. This Gopinath temple is famous because previously, in the same century previously, Lord Chaitanya had fallen unconscious in this temple after narrating the story of Srila Madhavendra Puri and his pastimes as the deity who stole a pot of condensed milk for his devotee Madhavendra Puri. And Rasikananda went inside the temple of Gopinath, and he had touched the lotus feet of the deity, and at that time he disappeared. And his disciples who were with him were just devastated. And the kartals fell to the floor, Pradhangas fell to the floor, and seven disciples also fell to the floor and left their bodies because they were merged in separation. And if you go to the temple of Shirashore Gopinath today, you can see the samadhi of Rasikananda Prabhu is there, the Pushpa Samadhi, along with 7 of his disciples who were all pure Vaishnavas. And there's also a Pushpa Samadhi of Rasikananda Prabhu at the temple of Radha Shamasundar in Vrindavan. Any comments or questions? Yes, Tarkeshwar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. I guess I was having some thoughts about Maharaj's comments. One of them was that I've read that Prabhupada, he says that Christianity is bona fide, but at the same time, it doesn't really have like a disciplic succession like we do, the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. So it's what's the standard of it being considered bona fide? Yeah, I guess that's it. I'm just curious.
There has to be a living representative of Jesus Christ in the world. And I heard Prabhupada say that I've traveled all over the world and I've met very many people who claim to be Christians, but I've never met a single Christian because none of them are strictly following Srila Prabhupada. Where's the Christian who's not eating meat? Jesus said, "Thou shalt not kill." One of our neighbors down the street here, they have a church of Seventh-day Adventists, and this sect of Christianity are vegetarians, but most of the others they're disobedient to Jesus, so therefore their sampradaya is lost today. Thank you for hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. It's time for the Sankirtan Yagya Festival. All glories to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada.
Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. You sent me one? Thanks. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Shri Shri Gaurnitai Ki Jai. So the Sankirtan scores for the week of November 13th will read them for the pleasure of their lordships, Sri Sri Gaurnitai, Lord Nrsimhadev, Tulsi Maharani, the Sampradaya Acharyas, Srila Prabhupada, His Holiness Dhanavir Goswami, and all the assembled devotees. This week we had 5 book distributors. In 5th position, with 1 small book and 1 big book for a total of 1.25 book points, Radhastali Devidasi. Haribo! In 4th position, with 1 Maha book for a total of 2 points, Jagannath Prabhu. Haribo! In 3rd position, with 1 big book and 1 Maha big book for a total of 3 points, Jai Keshava Prabhu. Haribo! In 2nd position, with 3 medium books and 3 big books for a total of 4.5 book points, Jivadoya Prabhu. Haribo! In 1st position, with 3 small books, 9 big books, and 11 Maha big books for a total of 31.75 book points, Rishi Kumar Das. In the topmost position, RVC Rupanuga Vedic College with 4 small books, 3 medium books, and 14 big books, and 13 Maha big books for a total of 38.25 book points. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One highlight from this week would be when we were at the plaza. Oh yeah, these guys were coming up who looked really cool. African American gentlemen with all the fresh clothes and jackets, and they look like they could have been in a music video. And I was like, wow, man, I like the style. And this guy was like, wait a second, you gave me a book before. And I started talking to him. He was like, I met you like around 4 years ago. And I said, that's when I first came to Kansas City. And he said, yeah, that's what he said. I first came here too. And he said, that's what we started talking about. I said, I just got here. You said you did also. And you gave me some of these books. And he said he's read some of the Science of Self-Realization. And I asked him about something. I forget what it was, but it just made me think of the Bhagavad Gita when we were talking. So I showed him the Gita. I said, did you get this one? He said, no, what's it about? And I told him about it. And I said, yeah, like you already know, we just asked donations so we can cover the printing of it. And he said, yeah, I'm gonna get this book. And he gave me a donation, and I got his phone number. His name's Felix. So he was interested to read on Zoom, and then hopefully we can see him at one of the Sunday feasts. Transcendental Book Distribution ki jai.
Hare Krishna. On Friday at the plaza, Shraddha Damodar Prabhuji and I were chanting the holy names of the Lord. And then these 3 people came walking, and they set all their stuff down, and there were 2 ladies and 1 guy, and the 2 ladies went off somewhere to get something, and the guy was just sitting there, or standing there, not necessarily paying attention to us, but not ignoring us. And so I went over to say hi to him and tell him about the books, and I offered him Gita and told him what it was about, and then he gave a donation. He gave a nice donation, so I ran and got his Science of Self-Realization, so he got some more of the Lord's mercy. Transcendental Book Distribution ki jai.
Um, so, let's see. Kayla and Adeline and I were going shopping, and we wanted to transcendentalize it. So, we met this really cool lady, and she had like a cool peacock tattoo, and it was just really nice to us. And so I said, hey, we're traveling monks, and we share this knowledge, where we share the spiritual knowledge. Would you be interested in one? And I only had the SSR in my bag. And so I gave it to her, and she just looked really happy. And yeah, so she took the book. Transcendental Book Distribution ki jai.
When we were on Harinam, and Jagannath Prabhu joined us digitally through Zoom, and there was this girl and her boyfriend walking by, and so we tried to stop them, him from the speakerphone and me like holding the phone. They're like, "Hey man, wait." And his girlfriend turned around and she was angry. She said, "Can you not?" And then we were a little hurt because the guy seemed really cool. And so we told her that, "Hey, he seems really cool. We just want to show him this book." So they waited and I put the book. It was like anyway, I won't go through. We had the phone here and then Jagannath is like looking through it. So it's like he's holding the book like a video game or something. And we put the book in the guy's hand and then the guy took the phone and Jagannath told him about the Gita and he asked his girlfriend to give a donation and she had a change of heart and happily gave a donation. So Transcendental Book Distribution ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.